5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Whoa! There I am. I pressed the wrong button there and you couldn't see me. And whoa, you won't have a show where you can't see me, can you? Let's be honest with you. Why does anybody listen to the podcast when you can watch me live? There we go. Some people have got no taste. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye, hello. Wherever you are in the world, one of those will apply to you. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for joining us live on YouTube. If that is how you are watching us, please get your comments in the panel down the side, and they should start eventually coming up in the bottom corner there. And let's be honest with you, Dan, who's my guest tonight, he really does like things coming up in his bottom corner. But, you know, I'm just leaving it there. I won't say anything else. If you are watching on Catch Up, thanks for joining us. Add your comments in the description below. Always pleased to read them. And if you are listening via your favourite podcast platform, whatever that is, I thank you for lending us your ears. Tonight's show is the prediction show. We're going for it very early. If Niall's watching, mate, we're going to go early. We decided to do that. And those that know. And if you are thinking, because we are going to be predicting the league table, I'm not, because I did this last season and I got it completely and utterly fucking wrong. I think I got one or maximum two teams in the right position. So I'm not going to make myself look a dick this season. I'm going to leave that to Dan. He's had a lot of practice, believe you me. Well, that's what I get when you're pissing the plants. But we will also be doing the prediction league as well. That is back. But we're doing it completely different next year, because if it's a double week, we're not going to talk all the way through 24 bloody games. It's, you know, like, bring a sleeping bag and get comfy here, guys. We're here till 2 a.m. We are not going to be doing that. We are going to be doing a different formation. Now, if you were in the prediction league last year and you dropped out and didn't stick with it until the end, then you will not be eligible to join this season. Basically, just pisses everybody about when you don't, you know, you say you're going to do it and then you don't, or you stop halfway through. More details to follow, but stand by your TVs, because that will be coming up soon. Like I say, my internet son, and I know he's my son because you don't see him. You don't see him for months and months and months. He ignores you, and then, yeah, as soon as he wants something, on he comes, and you see him twice in a week. Funny that, isn't it? He's got his begging bowl there. It doesn't work. I paid your mum enough for you over the years. Go and see her. She's got the money. Let's get this show on the road and get Dan in. Whoa! You see, that is Dan looking good. Oh, that is Dan not looking so good.
Halloween come early.
I know. Have you actually got changed since you did the show the other week, the other night?
I have got my Paddyum shirt on.
Paddington?
Paddyum.
That's Paddington.
Paddy I am.
Well, if you insist, sir. Are you? You know, most towns, a lot of these like local Lancashire, Yorkshire sort of towns, they tend to sort of have early closing on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever. That was the only time Paddyum opened, Wednesday afternoon, wasn't it?
It is. I still go there to convert whatever shillings I can find because they accept them still in Paddyum.
Do they still do the duck race?
They do. They do still do the duck race every year. Yeah.
Bless them. Oh God, that was a pain in the arse. That was. It was all right throwing them all in. It was collecting them at the end from wherever they got caught. Sure, every year they got less and less and less. I'm going to say a few hellos from people that were in before I clicked it up. Mike is in. Hi, Mike. How the hell are you, sir? Nice. Welcome along. I hope you are well as well, and everything's going very, very well with the news. Let's have a look. Who else we've got in? Well, fellas, stay tuned. We have the Burnley supermodel herself. I still think about you at night, Kate.
Katie comes with a price, not just Katie Price.
Kate, look, how you doing? Welcome along. Nice to see you again. Nice. Spencer's in. Hi, Spencer. Blue Fox is in. Hello. Certainly more entertaining watching live. Tom with his frozen balls is in. Evening, mate. I'm holding fire on predicting till the week before, and then we should all guess. Yeah. I saw your note, and we will be doing what you suggested, but we're not letting them make it that easy. Mike says if you're doing a League Two, I can try and jump on, Chris, mate. I won't be doing a League Two. Sorry,
I did a
mate.
League Two before I came on this podcast. That were actually quite healthy, to be honest.
I have absolutely. Who's in League Two?
Oh no, I just went for a number 2. That's all I was getting.
Oh, sorry. Talking of which, how are Newport doing, Mike?
Hey, they've signed a few decent players actually.
Are they still in League Two, or did they get relegated?
No, still League Two.
And still League Two. Fair play, Mike. You know I'm only joking. Could be worse. Your other team could be Manchester United. Oh shit! Right, moving on. Kate, Dickie Dan has a ring to it. To be fair, look, if he's got a Prince Albert, I don't want to know. Thank you very much, Kate.
It was definitely desperate, Dan, before me and Kate got together.
Yeah, Andreas, how you doing? And then we're pretty much up with what's in the chat down at the bottom. Right, so like I say, the Championship Prediction Show will be starting. I'm going to make it a lot easier because it does get a bit of a ball ache, especially when there's so many games to predict in this league. But this is what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be predicting the 25-26 Championship table. Don't panic, Dan, that's not yours.
Good.
You said, I didn't use that, but thank you very much. It made it very easy to read. That was last season. And look, I've got to say, and I did say it the other day as well, congratulations to yourselves for coming straight back up.
Yeah, it took a while to sort of get going when Parker came in, and we thought maybe, we'd...
You should lock the door then.
Well, get out. I'm trying... It's like Jim Royal family. I can't have a shit in peace in this house.
It wasn't a toilet I was thinking of, but never mind. Carry on.
But no, we managed to sort of find a formula that worked. We managed to get a tight-knit group after having such a big squad. Like I say, a lot went out the door, and now we've announced 2 signings over the last 2 days, and optimism's running high at the moment. Looking forward to it.
I mean, your first prediction of the evening I'm going to ask you for is, when do you predict that Scott Parker will get sacked?
I don't think he will. Like I said the other day, Chris, we're not a hire and fire club. I think it's. I think he'll be there till the end of the season at least.
I think if he keeps you up, he definitely will. He definitely will. But
I
that's
hope
the
so.
problem. Can he keep you up? He's not got a huge history of that. Nor, in fairness, is Daniel Farke at Leeds United.
No, this is true. This is true. Like you say, the ongoings at Wolves, they sort of had a bit of a tricky spell. Brentford, how they spend their money is going to be another big question. And
A new manager at Brentford as well.
yeah, like Prashant says in the chat as well, United and Spurs are still there to drop into the bottom two potentially. So,
excuse me, I've got a tenner on Spurs winning the Champions League. That would be so funny. The champions of Europe had finished 17th in their home league. Sunderland obviously going up as well. I mean, I think that, no disrespect, and I said this the other day, I think Leeds haven't had 2 seasons down there to clear everything out, get rid of anybody who didn't want to be there. I think they've got probably the best chance of staying up. But everybody's already, I mean, I'm looking at predictions and betting and odds and what have you, and don't gamble, guys. But, it's already Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland favourites to go down.
yeah, like you say, it could potentially be a hat-trick of the promoted sides dropping. To counteract your argument there, Chris, that yes, Leeds were very, very dominant going forward. Their attacking intent was something else. They were formidable on the front foot last year. But then looking at Burnley, they're completely the opposite, where defensively they were solid. So if they can keep that defensive structure pretty well in the Premier League, I think that would stand Burnley in better stead than it would Leeds going on the attack and leaving themselves open at the back.
16 goals conceded all season. That's almost as many as we scored. So well done. But look, one season in the future, we may not be ships that pass in the night. We may actually bump into each other.
Yeah, one of us is the iceberg, the other one's the Titanic.
I'm definitely the iceberg, I think. I'll tell you.
Well, I'd say you're a bit of a melt as well, Chris.
I told you, mate, not in public. Not in public. To yourself. Right, shall we get on with this then?
Yeah, let's get them all wrong. Why not?
Yes. Well, like I said, last time I actually did it with Rob Tanner, who is the Leicester correspondent for The Athletic. And I don't know whether you watch these at all, Rob, but if you are, you've got a lot going on. So my thoughts go out to you and your family. I hope everything's all right. And I got 2 right, but in fairness, he only got 2 right as well. And we did agree on 7, 6 of which we got wrong. But here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a countdown. Look at this. Colour-coded as well.
Oh,
relegation. Yeah, relegation, playoffs, second and first, of course, as in gold there. Look, we'll come to Leicester, obviously, at the point where you've predicted us to finish. When you were doing Leicester, did you, and with Sheffield Wednesday as well to a point, did you take into account possible points deductions, or are we doing this without any?
No, I still looked at Leicester with the points deduction.
Okay.
I was looking and basing it on points deductions given to other clubs, but recently that potentially this could be some now, some the season after. I don't know, depending on where they are in the league. Yeah. The one thing I didn't take into account with Leicester was obviously the news regarding King Power and what that could do.
Yeah.
And this is the only problem you've got doing a prediction so early on.
It is indeed.
But then we could say we could do this halfway through the season, and I could still get it horribly wrong because there's injuries, sackings. It's
exactly
the unpredictability of the championship.
Yeah.
That's what the whole reason why we love the championship, because of its unpredictability.
Well, to be honest with you, good luck next season, mate. Because I said the predictions, even the weekly score predictions, were bloody low scoring. They really were. Even you might have done well in that. And Kate, if you're watching, you were good at the old prediction show. Can I just say, everybody, by the way, if you are interested in watching short little clips, scan our TikTok code there, and you will follow our TikTok account, which is... What are you doing?
I'm pointing to your TikTok.
You know, you go...
Yeah, I'm showcasing it like, da-da, it's there.
No, it's not on the other side.
No, my camera's showing it that side.
Well, you've got reversal on your camera then.
Have I? What, so my arm's pointing towards the championship?
Yeah.
How?
It's on your right-hand side.
I don't get that.
You are actually showing that you have the tactical knowledge of Ruud van Nistelrooy, because he didn't know his fucking right wingers from his left wingers either.
Now I'm pointing it. Right.
Now you are, yes.
I don't get it. I don't understand why we're doing that.
Basically, scan it in and you'll follow us on TikTok. And every show that we do, we just take the best clips out, or StreamYard do it for us, take the best clips out and upload it to the TikTok. Right, okay, here we go. Yeah, even Kate says there, wrong side, Daniel. Well,
wrong hole, I suppose.
Oh, it's dark. Kate, that wasn't me. I didn't get a
Calm
chance.
down, Shaggy.
Sorry?
Calm down, Shaggy.
I've been saying.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Right, here we go. In 24th position. Sorry, got to get used to this. 24th position. You have placed Charlton Athletic, who came up via the playoffs. And I can remember Charlton Athletic when they were in the top division. And I always use Charlton as one of those beware what you wish for clubs, because they had, what was their manager? No, then when they were up in the top.
Kirbishley,
that was it. And let's be honest with you, they were mid-table.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't going to dig any trees up, but they were, never going to get relegated. They sacked Kirbishley because the fans wanted a bit more. And they got relegated and went all the way down to the bottom. But it's just getting covered up by the message. But you put Charlton there, you think they're going to go straight back down?
Yeah. Personally, not a fan of Nathan Jones at all. I think, to be honest with you, his antics in the playoffs really annoyed me. I mean, I weren't that keen on him anyway, but played up to the cameras before they'd even got to the final. And the full-time whistle hadn't even gone. He knew the cameras were looking at him. He's got his hands like this and he's peeking through and he's making it out like, oh, look at me. I'm so... emotion's meant to feel true. You're meant to feel it. You feel emotion. You don't play it. If anything, that just cemented my thoughts on him as a manager. I just think that on the teams that are in the division, the championship is getting harder and harder year in, year out. Like I say, teams that come down are too good for the championship, but, not all that for the Premier League. And we're seeing the odd couple of teams in there now try and fall into that route. Charlton, I think they'll try and give it a good go, but for me, it'll just be a case of getting those sneaky little points every now and again, but it won't be enough for me. I don't think.
Interesting, because his former team has gone down and he's come up.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It's a strange one.
Yeah. Kate says lots of your TikToks have been popping up, Chris. I'm not saying what pops up when I watch yours, Kate, but between you and me. So we've got Charlton. You've missed this, haven't you?
It presses the like button without me even touching my phone.
How's that plant doing in your bedroom, by the way? Is it doing well?
It's well watered.
Because he's still watering it. We're right in 23rd. Preston North End. I'm surprised here. Although having said that, they did finish 20th last season. Normally with Preston, they have a really good start to the season. They certainly did the season before when we were there. And, I think they were top for 1 week early on. And then they just always fall away. Is that what happened last season?
Yeah, they've just there's something about Preston. Like I said, they've been in and around the Championship. I think probably one of the longest serving Championship teams, if not the longest now. They've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. Always been flirting around the playoffs. They'll get into the playoffs, play the odd games, and do a Sheffield United and bottle it in the final, or bottle it even before that. But there's the investment there. I just don't see what I think. Is it still Peter Risdale who's there as chairman? I'm not entirely sure, but either way, I rate Paul Heckingbottom as a manager, but I just think there's not enough about Preston. They need a big rebuilding job going on, and to rebuild, sometimes it's probably best to drop to League One, as we've seen a few teams do. Like I say, Leicester have done it, Leeds have done it, Southampton have done it, and it's stood them in good stead. So for that reason, that's why P&E finish in place 23.
Doug doesn't agree with you. He didn't put Paul Higginbottom enough said, then two commentators went, I don't. Very, very, very annoying. Doesn't agree with you there. So, a surprise with Preston, because like I say, they have been there for absolutely. Yeah, they were there. I'm sure they were in that division when we were down before we got promoted to do the Great Escape and what have you that time. So 2014-15. They were there then. I used to love, when I lived in Burnley, going to see Preston, because they always did they did it as the family game. It was kids for a quid. And when you've got 4 kids, it made it very affordable.
Oh, it was a cheap day out then.
It was very, very. Which you don't often get with 4 kids,
Definitely not.
Doug's gone early prediction. Higginbottom doesn't last the season. Get off that fence, Doug. You'll get those splinters up your arsehole.
If Preston are down there, like I think Heckingbottom could be one of the first Championship managers to get the chop.
Yes, I think because as well he is, like you say, that they've been there so long that would be really seen as, well, it is bad anyway, but a real serious failure. And yet Peter Risdale is still a director at Preston as well. So those are 2 of the third. There's the 3 that are going to go down. I'm quite excited because I can't remember it all. I did this and I can't remember where you put it. I'm getting a little bit excited.
I only can because I've got it up on my phone here. So.
You cheat. Okay, so the third team that you think will go down next season, is this Leicester? Have you put Leicester with our points deduction to do a Luton Town? Ooh, well, I'll tell you what. Should we find out after this?
The TalkSport Fan Network is the ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts,
including Leicester Till I Die, independent analysis and reaction for the Foxes faithful.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
Unbeatable club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Follow the podcast on the TalkSport Fan Network.
I love doing that. We'll be back after this break to find out. Who is it? Number 22. And the third team to go down for Dan is going to be Oxford United, who Tom has got a bit of a soft spot for.
See, no, I thought Oxford they had a very decent finish for the first season back in the Championship. 17th, really good account of themselves. Made the Kassam Stadium quite a fortress, really, which, they were sneaking those wins. I think towards the back end of the season, they helped us as well in our chase for that second spot by beating Sheffield United 2-1 late on. I think they beat Leeds or held Leeds as well. There were some surprising results in there, but again, you're riding that wave of promotion. This time round, they'll be worrying about, like, let's see if we can go one better. Let's see if we can do this. But, you're not riding that wave anymore. And for me, that's why I feel they may potentially, goes back to similar to Preston, without investment and a team like Oxford, people are going to look at you and think you're one of those that are in that probably bottom 5 or 6 bracket, that when players want to go there, they'll want extra reassurances in contracts for their own safety.
Yeah.
So that's the only worry I have for Oxford. I actually think Gary Rowett is a great manager. I think he'll do very well. And if they do stay up again, it's commendable to him as well as the team. But for me, I just
Ex-Leicester
think,
player, of course.
yes, of course. How could I forget?
I don't know.
But yeah, for me, I think it's just they've had that first season back. Second season syndrome's going to kick in.
I mean, in fairness, they finished 17th last season. They finished above Stoke. 13 wins, 19 losses, minus 16 goal difference, 53 points. So fair play to them. But yeah, it's a very, very good point about them. Have they still only got 3 sides to the ground as well?
Yeah. Yes, they do. They do. I think they are in the process of building a 4th, but it's not. Yeah, it's still pretty much a bit of a 3-sided wonder.
Right. Well, 21st, is this where you've got Leicester? No, because you've got Hull City, who only just survived in the same position last season, literally on goal difference.
Yeah. Again, these are another team that could potentially drop into that bottom 3. Losing Ruben, is it Ruben Sellers? I think that they had. Sorry, he's just become Sheffield United's manager, but
yeah, Sellers.
Yeah, he obviously kept Hull up. That's the job that he was brought into Hull to do, and then Hull went and fired him. Like, I just don't get that. I really don't get that at all.
Yeah.
Hull remind me of Notts County, where they got given a load of money to play around with, and they've done nothing with it. Otherwise, they would have achieved successes on the back of it. And it's just not worked out for them. So we saw it with Birmingham. Birmingham flirted around in that bottom bracket for a good few years, and we thought, well, they just eventually bugger off, and they did. Obviously, this time round they've come back up, but yeah, Hull for me again could easily fall into that bottom 3. But I've just thought they've been around the league a while; they might know it a little bit better than Oxford.
I think who Hull remind me of is Watford, because like you say, they sacked Sellers when he kept them up. They sacked Trezeguet when he nearly got them into the playoffs and only missed the playoffs by 1 point. And to me, it's one of those clubs that's got a manager that likes to, an owner, that likes to interfere when he needs to keep his nose out. Because had they stuck with Rosinha, I think they may well be in the Premier League by now.
Easily.
But look, Hull, again, be careful what you wish for. So Hull just avoiding. Have you got them avoiding it on goal difference again?
They could easily drop into that bottom 3 for me, Chris. It's a tough one. That the bottom 5 or 6, I think, could easily, potentially 7. The bottom 7, I think again it'll be another one of those leagues where we're going to be looking at close in numbers, and it's down to the final couple of days of the league where we're looking both at the top and the bottom.
Yeah. Thank you very much for putting Leicester at 8th from bottom. Oh, should have said that. Right, Hull City 21 just staying up in 20th position. This was a position held by Preston last season, but they've dropped to 23 for you. Stoke City dropping 2 from 18, 51. So that again, only just surviving. Are they another club that you'd put in that bracket of, just get lost?
No, I do quite like Stoke. And I'm not just saying that because they became a feeder team for us a couple of years ago under Sean Dash. But no, they've, to give them the credit, they're a club that...
You mean the Messiah, Sean Dyche?
Yes. Yeah. The soon-to-be Leicester manager, Sean Dash. Sorry, Wayne.
He's in.
Hope you're well. But yeah, no, I think Stoke are one of them where they're built on quite good history regarding the pottery towns and stuff like that. There's something about Stoke I quite like, but I just think again it's going to be another struggle. The teams that are in, again, it goes down to the teams in this league. There's a lot of quality in this league now, and it's about keeping your head above it and being a part of it. you'll get that surprise team that just comes out of nowhere that you think, how the hell did you do it? And I put Bristol City in that from last season, with that late push into the playoffs. So who knows? But Stoke, again, I think will have another torrid season where they'll have to accept mediocrity in the Championship.
I always find with Stoke is that when we were in the Premier League, they were always sort of in that section just above the relegation. Chris thinks he's on top of the pops, dropping 2018. Now then. I shouldn't do that, should I? But,
Chris, that's a show where you've had a drink and gone like this with your arm and flaming and said, now then. Now we just need a Farage. Boring.
Oh dear.
This is a prediction. This is news.
I'm only upset because you never replied to me letter. But Stoke, when they were in the Premier League, they were always there or thereabouts. They were in that bottom half, 10th to 16th or 17th, and it's a bit like that. I think we're with them in the Championship, but they're owned by Bet3. Well, they're not. Yeah, they are owned by Bet365, but they don't seem to. They're almost like they're too scared to maybe do what Leicester did and is take a chance. They've got the money. They're never going to get done for PSR, but they're never going to sort of do anything exciting.
No, they're another one of them clubs that, similar to Charlton in a way, came down and you thought was going to get themselves back up. Charlton obviously fell into League One and were in League One for a while, but Stoke, I thought, after having so many years in the Premier League, would have come down to the Championship and tore it up, really, but they didn't at all, which I was really shocked about. And like I said, they've just accepted being a Championship club. I do wish them well. I quite like them, but it's it's going to be a long old season for them. They've got the money. It's just whether again, it's how they use it. It's how they use it in today's market, and with their marketing just fluctuating like no tomorrow. Prices on players overpaid because they know you've got the money. It's ridiculous. So you only have to look at Hull, who spent quite a bit of money. One of their standout players last season, they've had to release on a free just to let him, because he said he'll kick up and never play for you. It's mad as football now. So that's another, like I say, one of the reasons why I think Stoke are where they are.
Interestingly, of course, Mark Robbins is at Stoke City, and then another ex-Leicester player, and somebody who I have to say, when we got rid of Cooper, I wouldn't have minded coming to Leicester, because when you look at what he did with Coventry, he got them up to he got them within two kicks of a bloody FA Cup final, didn't he? And he managed to keep them going through all the not having a ground to play in. He is a bit of a firefighter.
He is, and I think he's one of those managers built on old principles as well. And that again stands you in good stead in the Championship. You've got to be rugged, but you've also got to be, be one of those managers that will lean on your shoulder and say, "Look, I'm here if you need me." Mark Robbins is one of them. So who knows? Stoke could be a surprise package, but they could also be one of those looking at the exit door of the Championship.
Yeah. Wayne says, haha, I was singing the Bee Gees song, Dyche Fever. He knows how to do it. Can I just say, I do not employ Wayne for his comedic values. Let me just say that. Although having said that, looking at you, I'm thinking, I can't not look at you tonight and not think of Cammy. Cammy, is a player being sent off? Cammy, can you?
I saw him walking off, Chris, but
oh God, you got to love a bit of Cammy.
You do.
Stoke are the most consistent Championship side ever. Consistently shite. No, as I say, I do like Mark Robbins as the manager, so fair play to them. Okay, in 19th. Portsmouth. Now, Portsmouth, 16th again, got promoted, didn't they, last season?
Mm-hmm.
Again, did they finished 16th? They won 14, lost 20, only minus 13 goal difference. Did they again, do a bit of an Oxford and they're only one place above Oxford, get that run of getting promoted and running on that?
Yeah, that's almost the reason why I put them where they are. Similar to Oxford, that it's going to be again a second season situation. John Massinio, again, underrated for a manager who's not really been around that long. Ex-players and things like that. I think he's stepped up pretty well. Again, we could say the same as like we said about Stoke and Charlton of their heyday in the Premier League. Pompey had all that money, had the likes of Benjani, Crouch Defoe, Nico Cranshaw, the Harry Redknapp days. And Fratton Park hasn't changed. It is that old school ground. It's really I've not been, but it's a place I've wanted to go just because of its it's
you just want to walk through the house to get in, don't you? That's what you want to do.
That's Luton.
I think Portsmouth is a little bit like that as well. Yes, I think. Or you walk down a very thin street and it's at the end or something. Yes,
that's all right. But it's a ground I wouldn't mind ticking off. And like I say, for me, again, they stay up in the Championship. I'd say they'd probably accept that as a good season.
But two facts about Portsmouth. One is they are the only club in the Football League that plays on an island. Portsmouth is on an island, didn't you know?
Is it?
I hope that's true now I've said it. The other thing I am sure about, I know Portsmouth...
You said there was two things, so what's the second? The second is Chris's bullshit.
The second I'm sure about because I can see it on my computer here. No, they are... Portsmouth itself is an island, city, town, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure whether the ground's on there or not. But the thing I am sure about is that John Massinio is the longest-serving manager in the Championship at 2 years, 5 months, and 6 days.
No, this is what I mean. This is a guy who was literally playing a couple of years back and now is one of the longest-serving managers.
I like Portsmouth.
Yeah, I don't think they're a bad little club. But again, I think they would take this another season in the Championship. I was going to say slowly build. They have dropped from where they were last year on my prediction, but again, it's another season in the Champ and more money for them to rebuild long term.
Exactly. Right, in 18th, Sheffield Wednesday, who we have got obviously on our opening day, which is the Sunday the 10th, live on Sky. Who knew? I wonder if Sky knows something we don't. Just saying. Look, no, just roll with this one.
Oh, don't. You'll send Wayne off. You set him off, Chris. If he goes quiet for a while.
Back. That was funny. Dan was waiting for your funny Portsmouth Island.
Yeah, I was.
Yes. It wasn't a joke. It was a fact. Sheffield Wednesday 12th last season, won 15, lost 18th. You've got them dropping down to 18th. This is a club in a mess. They say that about Leicester. These are. I mean, we don't know what our punishment is. They've already got a 3 transfer window ban, embargo already. So that's 2 for this season and 1 for the following season. Danny Roll apparently today is in talks with the Sheffield Wednesday board about leaving because I think somebody said, I don't know who it was, might have been you, Dan, that he had a thing in his contract that if he didn't get paid for 2 months running, he could walk. If he does leave, it would be interesting because there'll be no compensation.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. Say hi to Kate.
Just kids shouting downstairs. No, I just... Sorry, Chris, say the last bit again. The kids have thrown me.
That's all right. That's... Don't say that live.
I'll put it flog him.
Just get onto the NSBCC, will you, love? They say they've got that transfer window embargo. Danny Roll, if he does walk out, he's then available, not with a £5 million compensation, but on a free, basically.
Yeah, and like I say, if he does go on a free and he does go to Leicester, fair play to him, and I think Wayne will be as happy as a pig in shit with that news. Let's just say, but
he'll love him until he doesn't pit Monga. Then he'll be roll out.
But like I said on the other podcast, that would Danny Roll want to go into, without any negatives behind this comment, another club that at the moment is facing a bit of hardship, not knowing where money's potentially going to come from if the King Power deal does fall through, and like I say, the points deduction as well. So I think the reason Sheffield Wednesday still are in the Championship is because of Danny Roll. I think he's an absolutely fantastic manager. As I said the other day, my uncle's a massive Wednesday art, and he believes that they wouldn't be where they are. Chansiri has got a lot to answer for. And again, if they stay in the Championship, they are going to be staying in it by the skin of their teeth, because who would want to go to Sheffield Wednesday at the moment with the shit show that is there? It's worse than Leicester's, to be honest. Let's put it there. When at least Leicester can pay their players, and at the moment we're just talking about murmurs. Yes. Where with Sheffield Wednesday, it's practically an heart attack and back on the.
I think in fairness to Leicester is that King Power don't actually own us. That it's the owner. Yeah. It's Top and his family that own us, and they're obviously quite rich outside of King Power. So I would normally say any manager, we've always said, like, why would anybody go to Watford? You go, they sack you, you get paid off. But then that's not going to happen with Sheffield Wednesday, because you don't get paid.
No, exactly. It's a really tough time for. Again, they're another club that I adore. Sheffield Wednesday, like I say, I think they're brilliant. So it's sad to see what they're going through. And to be fair, I said the same when Blackburn went through a bit of turmoil as well. I said the same there, that you don't want to see these clubs fold.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I wouldn't want to see them fall, because then the rivalry goes, the history's gone.
I know,
and it's those little things. Yes, you can have a laugh at them while the hardship's going on, but if it came to it, I think Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday fans would be walking hand in hand with a bucket to help each other out.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, I said
18th, I'd snap your hand off. If I were a Wednesday fan, 18th, I would snap your hand off with all the shit that's coming out of the woodwork.
I think they would. I think if RVN goes to Wednesday, Wade, I think that would be the death of them. But no, you don't. And I said this about Derby and about Coventry. As a club that's gone bust twice and nearly went bust a third time, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Right, at 17th, is this Leicester? No, but it's one of our rivals, Derby County. Who's manager at Derby County these days?
It is, what's he called? He left Blackburn to go there.
It's not Frank Lampard.
John Eustace.
John Eustace, yes. Useless Eustace. But has that been the right decision for him?
I'd say so. Massively say so, yeah. I think.
Because when he went, Blackburn were very near the playoffs, weren't they?
Yeah.
And were in the shit.
It was a strange one. It was a very strange one, but as a Burnley fan watching it, he was like, you're jumping ship when you've got a chance of getting a team into the playoffs to go to Derby. I thought it says something for you as a football club that you can't keep hold of a manager with the success that you're having to then have to try and keep a team up. It was, you don't see that happen very often in football. Obviously, I know he's got ties to Derby, previously played there, etc. And maybe he felt like he owed it to them to step in and do a job. So I think he's a very good manager. I think Derby could even potentially finish higher than where I've put them, because I think how they did last year, once Eustace came in, if that had continued over the course of a season, they could have been looking at probably 11th or 10th place finish. So yeah, I've gone with, because of the bulk of teams that are in there, teams that are throwing money at it as well. Derby sitting 17th, and yeah, I can't see him progressing any further than that.
No, I mean, last year they were 19th, so you've got them doing slightly better than that. Obviously, John Eustace thought that Blackburn were a foul club to play for.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Exactly. I told you this before. I used to work for Blackburn Rovers.
You did, yes.
And at Christmas, they used to give you a Christmas box. They're like when I worked at Simon Jersey Uniform Company at Oldham, they gave you a bottle of champagne at Christmas. Funnily enough, and this was before the Venkies took over, Blackburn Rovers gave you a turkey.
Well,
what can you say?
Need we say more?
No, we didn't. We needn't. Then the week after, they got a stuffing. Hey, come, thank you. Here we go. 16th. Talking of Blackburn Rovers, now that you've not put them this low simply because you happen to be a small club outside of Blackburn, bus stop outside of Blackburn, have you?
I don't live in Darwin. I'm not a Shadsworth regular. I still have four fingers and a thumb on each hand. I'm perfectly normal in terms.
Well, that's a matter of opinion, but carry on.
Oh, fucking hell, Chris! Why do you have to? Oh, bloody hell! But no, yeah, I was going to put them. I was going to just be your typical claret tinted glasses and say you're going down with Preston, but I think, is it Valerian Ishmael who's gone in there? He had a bit of a rough start, very rough start when he went in. And I think it was only towards the back end of the season where they could have potentially snuck into the playoffs. I think they went on a 6-game unbeaten run at one point, and it really propelled them into that sort of playoff pack. So I wonder what they can achieve, whether they can. It all depends on signings. Losing Tyree Stolen on a free will be massive. I think he was a big player for them last season. But yeah, 16th. I feel like I've been fair to Blackburn there. As a Burnley fan, I feel like I've been quite nice to them.
It could have been a lot worse. Look, 7th they finished last season. That's the biggest drop that you've given anybody. 7th to 16th. He was only in charge for 4 months.
Yeah,
when a manager, but like you say, he did get them to. In their last 5 games, they didn't lose a game. They won 4 and drew 1. So fair play to them, but that is a hell of a drop.
It is. As I said, it's sort of. It sounds bad because as a Burnley fan, the drop, I can understand why it sounds really bad, but it's not with any. It's not been done with malice.
In fairness,
it's been done because I just think that Blackburn and their results can be quite inconsistent. They can go on a run of 6 games, but then they could easily go on a run of 6 defeats.
Yes.
And I think that's the only issue with them. And when you look at the teams, as I said earlier, that are coming around spending money, it's hard to predict. Like I say, from this point onwards, looking at probably 9th to the rest of who we've got to go through, could all be quite mismatched in that area.
Scott says, he said question at the end, but we'll do it while we're on Blackburn Rovers. Would Dan be happy if, in fact, it's just gone off my screen, so let me just get it up here. Where's it? I've gone. It's gone now. Question for at the end for Dan. Would you be gutted if Blackburn? I know you've really answered this already, but gutted if Blackburn fell under financial hardship, possibly ruined. I don't think you would. I think you'd enjoy it if they got relegated, but like you say, you wouldn't want to see them go out of business, would you?
No, I mean, we were all singing Jelly and Ice Cream when they went down under Steve Keane and things like that, and seeing them cry on TV on Sky Sports, and you lap it up like no tomorrow, and
Yes.
who wouldn't? But if it got to a point where, eventually Blackburn, they probably have run out of Jack Walker's money now. It's been that long. They're having to rely on investment from outside now. They've not got the riches that they once had.
But again, we're talking about Charlton making bad decisions. Sacking Sam Allardyce and replacing him with Steve Keane got to be one of the biggest mistakes ever in football, hasn't it?
Just that bulk of managers after that. What were it? Steve Keane, Henningberg. I think they tried to go around all ex-players, and it was just absolute turmoil. Absolute turmoil. And they had a very good squad, as much as some of them were getting older, the likes of Mortams, Gams, Pedersen. When you talk about Premier League players, retro Premier League players, he's one of those that were right up there statistically.
Yeah.
So, they have had some very good players in the past, and I will hold my hand up. They had their time up there as a powerhouse before we were, and they don't shut up about it.
You're going to have me crying in a minute. Let's move on. You're going to have me in tears for your love for
I'm
Blackburn.
glad you're saying let's move on because, I think I've given them enough love. Honestly, my toes are curling up here.
I could feel the pain you were in. And I thought, I'll let you go on for a bit, thinking you're going to fill this with bullshit. And then you just carried on. Watford, you got in 15th. Well, last season they were 14th. Lost more than they won. I don't even know who their manager. Well, I don't know who most of the managers are, but I would imagine he's not been there long.
Paulo
Pelleziano, been there 1 month, 13 days.
Apparently, that's the.
Is that me who's frozen, or has Dan frozen as well?
Oh, I'm here.
You're back. I've got this for when Dan freezes. I have got this ready. I'm not saying Dan is a gremlin, but there we go. Anyway, Watford virtually where they were last season.
Yeah, again, can't see them pushing. They've got an aging squad. They are trying, but again, the inconsistency of managers. For me, it's. I think sacking Tom Cleverley was a bad idea. I know what they're trying to achieve. They're thinking, right, Tom Cleverley's give us some mediocrity, he's give us, stability, but we need to push on now. Yeah. But the way Watford try to push on, if they're not in that playoff bracket by the end of September, they'll probably hire and fire someone else.
Yeah, no. So
right. Again, it can't be good for players. It can't be good for morale.
No.
You're learning one manager's tactics. The next week, you're learning another.
Tell me about it. Watford lost 4 of their last 5 games, only drawing the other one. In 14th, we're getting closer to Leicester. Well, we've got to be getting closer to Leicester because they've not come up yet. Are they in 14th? No, it's the Welsh wonders Swansea City, who last season were... I can't find them. Where was Swansea? Yeah, 11th. They were in 11th. 17 wins, 19 losses.
Yeah, Alan Sheehan, former
Leicester player.
And Leicester, let's not forget.
How many ex-players have we got managing in this division? Are we planning a takeover and asking them all to throw games for us so the only way we'll get promoted?
Yeah, but the only way they'll do that is if you keep Ruud van Nistelrooy, so he looks like the best manager of the year award.
Don't.
No, again, Swansea have had the time in the Premier League, but for me, are now and ever present. They won't want to replicate what Cardiff have done, which is obviously dropped down to League One. So they'll be happy enough staying in the champ. I don't think they've got a squad capable enough of competing at the top level of the Championship. But no, I'm quite happy with 14th. I think 14th's quite respectful for where Swansea should be sat.
Like you say, they were 11th last season, so there or thereabouts. Wrexham, now the new boys. Whoa. Swansea won't be happy that you put Wrexham above them. I was saying earlier when I did the fixture announcement, I love the Wrexham story, but there's got to be more to it. I mean, how can they afford to do? They're not just doing this with the players that they've had, so they must be bringing some decent players in. How are they affording that?
Yeah, it screams you Chelsea, doesn't it? You know, like, little side companies that, we can't afford the women's stadium, so let's sell it to ourselves. And just, you know, there's got to be some, you know, loopholes and dark magic going on where they can. But you know what, fair play to them. Like you said there, respect the story. I just think the first season back in the Championship will be very, very difficult for them. You know, saying that, look at Ipswich. Ipswich went back to back and got promoted to the Premier League. It's, you know, it can be done. But no, for me, Wrexham, they've still got quite a youngish squad as well. They've got a mix of old and young in there. But the old are very old. You know, I'm saying that when you come up out of a division, I don't think they're going to be able to cut it in the division above. So let's see who they bring in. I think it will be interesting, to say the least, because like I said, again, teams that are going to throw money at it, Wrexham's probably up there, but you can throw money at it all you want. If that team doesn't gel, it's not going to reap and bear fruits. So for me, 13th, you know,
I think this is the end of the run, and I think they should be, as a promoted team, very happy with that.
Massively. Look at Salford, who've been trying to achieve it for years, and they're still down in the doldrums of League Two.
Yeah,
MK don't start a franchise and want to bring up, you know, be another London powerhouse. It's not, you know, or for that sort of borough. It's not going to work.
No, I think they would be happy with 13th, definitely. So we're into the top half of the table now. We still got no Leicester. 12th, Queen's Park Rangers.
You on, Chris. It's why you asked me on.
No, I asked you on because I knew you'd be honest with me. Now, Queen's Park Rangers, they last season finished in 15th. 14 wins, 18 losses. Last 5 games, won 2, lost 2, drew 1. Who is the manager at QPR?
I think
it's Julien Stéphan. Apparently he's been there 5 days.
Yes, he is. It's he's a new boy. They just got rid of, is it Cefdes, I think, who was the manager?
I'm not sure.
I think he's just gone somewhere as well. He's left. Marty Cifuentes.
That's it. I had a feeling who it was, but I could never ever pronounce that name, so I wasn't going to. I knew you'd get there eventually. But he replaced an ex-player, didn't he? Who was really, really struggling. Long hair. I can't think what he was called.
Gareth Ainsworth.
That was it. Yes, yeah.
Gareth Ainsworth were there.
I mean, I think last season for QPR, finishing in 15th was a good season for them.
Yeah, because especially they've been flirting again down that bottom half, where you thought QPR similar. And I'll say it again, similar to Hull. They've had the time of having a bit of money. You know, they had the controversy with Tony Fernandez and all that stuff. But again, they've created a bit of a staple of a championship side. A couple of positions better than last season. I think they'll be happy with that, just based on the fact that I think there's teams in there that are going to struggle. So they've probably got a lot more credentials to go further up the league. But yeah, I've not really got much to say on QPR. I just think that the one that are always there. And,
Yeah. I love QPR. They're one of those clubs that, because I'm a bit older, I remember Stan Bowles playing for them.
Yeah.
It's another one of those old grounds that, you literally, you can't go far back to take a throw in, or you sat on some woman's.
Oh, no, you basically it's stand and pitch, isn't it? There's not much difference.
Yeah. I do have a soft spot for QPR. Struggled. In fact, if they hadn't, I don't think if they hadn't sacked Rangers, sacked Ainsworth, they might have gone down that season. But Wayne was saying he likes you. You're very diplomatic. You got us in the top 11.
Yes, I'll take it, Wayne. I'll take it.
Yes, but Ray Wilkins as well.
Yes,
see, Wayne's as old as me.
Yes, Ray Wilkins.
Tom says, happy to listen to Dan, mate. He's got some great views. Mine are probably based in more creativity than logic, as we talked about earlier. I should also stop dominating the chat. You dominate away, mate. Your opinions are usually based on alcohol as well, Tom. Let's just put it that way.
Tom, Chris loves a dominatrix, so you continue. You continue, mate. You're not the only one with frozen balls at the end of it.
Evening, Kate.
That's blue balls.
So she's got a lovely whip. Right, here we go. In 11th, though, is this Leicester City? Trevor Drumroll. No, Millwall, the team everybody loves to hate. Again, they were 8th, just missing out on the playoffs by a couple of points, to everybody's pleasure. I mean, they are the team that everybody loves to hate, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, Matt. I think they did very well, actually. Millwall, obviously, they lost their main source of goals in Zian Fleming to us, who played as a number 9 for them. Never played as a number 9 when he came to Burnley, though, for some reason. But
why buy a player and then playing where he should be played? No manager does that these days.
We played him up front. We played him up front instead. But like I said, Millwall, Millwall for me. They strike me a bit like Spurs. When Spurs got rid of Kane, that first couple of games, they were all fighting for each other. All played like they had to lace up the boots and not rely on that one man to change their fortunes. And I think that's what stood Millwall in good stead last year. But again, this year, I don't see it. I can't see it. There's too much class in the Championship now for me. Yeah. And again, that's why it pushes some of these teams, which is not. It's not. I'm not trying to be harsh to them. There'll be fans probably in the comments at the end of this saying, "How dare you put our club there?" And it's no disrespect to where your clubs are. I just that.
Yeah.
As Brad's old channel used to be, it was just a matter of opinion.
Yes, indeed. I've forgotten that. But no, it is. And that's why we've got you on. Kate says she's still here. I should bloody hope so, Kate. I paid for 2 hours with you. If you're leaving now, I want my money back. Yeah. I mean, I could have got away with paying for 5 minutes. Let's be honest with you. It was all over then. But I like to have a chat and a fag afterwards. You know what it's like. Okay. It's a good job there's a couple of 100 miles between us, Right. Number 10. Oh, Bristol City. Anthony's team. 6th last season, missing out on the playoffs. No, they were in the playoffs, weren't they? They just scraped into the playoffs, sorry, by 2 points. Won 17, lost 12, but only won 1 of the last 5. They lost 2 and drew 2. Obviously, Nigel Pearson's own team. Your thoughts on Bristol? You got them 10th, you got them dropping 4 places.
Yeah, losing Liam Manning, massive. Losing.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Tom's
Liam Manning was probably one of the main reasons as to why Bristol City ticked last season.
Yes.
He brought in players that he's worked with before. I think he had Scott Twan at MK Dons when he was there. Brought him in at Bristol City, put a bit of a decent side together, and it's just sometimes you lose a manager and you can lose all. Pardon me. Lose all faith in what you're trying to achieve. I fear for them because I think they're going to lose the main player in Jason Knight.
Yeah,
I think he's been absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, 10th position again. I think Bristol City. There's Anthony. There's a lad I know called Annie as well. He says that he fears for Bristol City this season. So to actually,
no. Kate says I've been dipping in and out. That was my line, actually. Let's go up. She knows me. She knows what I'm like. Norwich in 9th place. Now I thought they'd changed the manager. In fact,
they have Liam Manning from Bristol City's gone in there.
He has gone there, hasn't he? Yes, it hasn't updated on transfer market. I think that will is a good move for them. They finished 13th last season, lost more than they won, and only won. Well, they won the last game, but they hadn't won the previous 4. Obviously for a few years they were yo-yo teams.
Mm. Yeah, no, they've been decent. Like I say, I think they were the last season's top goal scorer in Borja Sainz out on the left wing. Josh Sargent was up there on the top goal scorers list. But so if they can keep hold of these sort of players that have got really good pedigree and another year in the legs to kick them on, then who knows? We could be looking at Norwich, contending in the playoffs. But again, let's see what Liam Manning's stamp is on Norwich. And at the moment, because I don't know how Liam Manning will fare with an experienced Norwich side when he's used to having youthful sides. That was my whole reason as to why Norwich were down in 9th.
Yeah. Right. Getting excited, everybody. Getting exciting. Into the top 8. Who have you got at number 8 then, Dan? Let's have a look. Let's have a look through the arch window today, shall we? If anybody's old enough, #play school. You're too young, Dan. You won't remember that. You're more of a Teletubbies man, aren't you?
I'm built that one, yeah.
Middlesbrough in 8. Again, another championship club that have got rid of the manager.
Yeah, sacking Carrick, a bit again a strange one. I thought, he started.
Fuck off, Wayne. Sorry.
It's bloody good makeup, innit?
Sorry, do carry on, Tom.
Practically embalming fluid. No, I'm only joking. But no, Borough, a real strange one sacking Carrick. He did some really good work when he first came in. I honestly thought they were going to fly, get straight back up into the Prem, but it just didn't work out for them at all. Again, they're a team that keep missing out just narrowly, falling short at the final hurdle. So
I think them Gremlins are back in again.
As they do.
Yeah, no, that's 8. Oh, it's getting exciting. This is boom. Where are we, guys? Has he got us winning it again? Oh. Well, we're not in 7th because he's got West Brom missing out yet again. We're talking about Middlesbrough missing out. West Brom, the last 5 games, 1 loss, drawn, 1. They did win more than a loss. And for a lot of the time, they looked, certainly when we were down there a couple of seasons ago, they were vying at the top. You don't think this is going to be their year again, though?
No. Again, boing, baggies, as they like to call themselves. I just can't see them bouncing in. I like them as a club. I do like them as a club. And the Hawthorns, I've been a few times. Luckily, I've seen us win there every time I've been, so that's not too bad. So another reason probably why I like it.
Well, it helps, doesn't it?
It does. But yeah, just again, narrowly missing out. Nothing really much to say. So yeah, West Brom 7th, just missing out again.
Yeah. Dorco says he always wanted the round window. No, had to be the arched window. That was my fave. Always the arch. And Wayne says, cheeky sod, Dan, and you've got, at least in the playoffs, boom time. Has it? Or we might have this, of course, automatic. In 6th place, and this, I'm not going to lie, this shocked me. Out of everyone that you've actually put, I can understand why. And there's a couple in there I've went like, ooh. But this one really did surprise me. No, it wasn't. It's not this one. I'll come back to that. But you have got Coventry in 6th. And, of course, they finished 5th and playoffs this year. So playoffs again for Coventry. Frank Lampard, maybe this is his level.
It is. It is. Again, I think they had such a really good late push. Since he came in and took the job, nobody even thought Coventry were in and around it, looking at playoffs at all, and they just went on a rampage of winning games. But they went silently about it. Like nobody was looking at Coventry doing what they were doing in the league. They were just sort of getting the odd win here and there, and you just thought no of it. And next minute, you're like, shit, have you seen how our Coventry are in the table? They just went quietly about the business, and I think that's what you want. You want to just be doing the, oh yeah, we just snuck a win here or we snuck a win there. Not going all out and beating teams 3-0 every week. So you start being spoken about. Being that underdog story, Frank Lampard gets his, gets a bit of jip for, his career and things like that. But I will say that he's done really well there. And if he can get another fine tune out of them, keep hold of Jack Redorni is massive for Coventry. If they can keep hold of him, he is a huge player. One that I would love to see play at Burnley as well if we lose Josh Brownell. But if they can keep hold of Jack Redorni, that'll be massive for them going forward this season. So they're one of my shout outs for the playoff pack.
Coventry City. Still not. I got a couple of things mixed up. So this next one still isn't my surprise that you've sprung on me. But in 5th place, and you know what, Dan? Do you know what? I miss a day out at Wembley. It used to be our end of season, like Charabanc trip. Let's all go down. Didn't we have a lovely time a day? We went to Wembley. That was our second home for a few seasons. 5th place, you've got Leicester. I'll take, honestly, I have to say, thank you, because I will take that now.
No, I think, like I said, going back to the points deduction, I think if it's anything more than, if it's more than 6 points, it could potentially be a struggle. I'm not saying it's going to be a struggle and you'll go down. You'll definitely consolidate in this league 100%. However, if you're looking at a 2 or 4, I mean, look at Sheffield United. They had a -2, and if they'd have kept up form, could have absolutely pissed it.
Yeah,
but didn't. You can't write that. This is what I'm saying about the Championship. It's so unpredictable, and I think you'll have a driving force as well going forward in this league this year, because the points deduction could be used as a catalyst to, ignite your season.
Yes.
Like, right, we know we've got to get out this shitstorm first before we start getting like the 3 points to get clear of these points deduction are, oh yeah, well we're still not making points, we're still not going anywhere, we're still rock bottom. So it builds up a mentality, it builds up a cohesion going to, achieve what you're wanting to achieve. And for that, I thought I've been quite fair. And
I think
also,
you've been generous, I have to say.
I couldn't put you below Coventry, could I? Come on. I've been on this
This is your
program far too long.
This is your chance to have done that. No, I mean, I don't think it'll be just 2 points. I think that both the EPL and the Premier League that are now acting as one are literally going to go and smash it for us. I think they've really got it in for us. Once and I understand why. We stung them, and they're not going to take that lying down. They're going to come back with it.
Just say to them, hold on, we've got City in our name. If City can get away with 150 issues, what can we get away with?
Yeah, or if you check out, as Wayne did for me earlier, and thank you, Wayne, Kieran Maguire, who we have on, the friend of the show, and he comes on and does his financial talk. He's made a very good point about Chelsea as well this season. But unfortunately, I think it would be more than 2. If we were... I mean, it's still this sort of 9 points if you go out of business. So it should never be more than 9 points.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Or they change that if you go out of business, it's more than 9 points. Because it's ridiculous that you're spending... we're not gone bust, and yet we could get 12 points. That's pretty stupid when it's only 9 points for going out of business. We haven't been, we're not going to get any points back like Forest and Everton did, because we've licked the arse and said, sorry, sir, my fault, sir, 3 bags full, sir. We fought them. Plus, also, of course, there's 6 odd more games in this league, so they're going to take that into account as well. No, mate, I think you've been more than fair, and I know if we finish 5th, I would take that, because I don't think we'll go up this next season, but I don't think it will be a bad thing, because I'm almost hoping for a transfer embargo, because it means we'll have to play the youngsters and give them a couple of seasons to get used to it. But no, 5th, thank you very much.
Why not though, Chris? I mean, you can see how much fight you get when you play the youngsters, because they're wanting to break into that first team. They're hungry for it. And the Championship is it's just the most amazing league to go out there and try and showcase your stuff. Yes. So, if Leicester do have to go down that route, okay, it might be a daring move, but I think long term it will stand you in a lot better stead. I think you'll be all right. I think you'll come out of this smiling at the end of it.
Well, fingers crossed, you're right. I wasn't smiling at this next one, because this is the one. This is the one that, not the fact that you've got them above us, but the fact that you've got them as high as you have. I'm like, I forgot that you actually like to drink. Because you've gone and put Birmingham City in at number 4.
Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from?
Again, I looked at the Ipswich sort of model, where they could have a back-to-back promotion. Again, I know they're a bit like Wrexham, where they're going to throw money at it. They have kept quite a good nucleus of squad over the years as well. They've not managed to... Where's Sig gone off?
I'm with you on that one, Wayne. Totally with you.
Listen, you've got to throw a humdinger in there at some point. You all thought it were Coventry back in the playoffs. No, it were Birmingham.
It's going to be a City takeover in the playoffs, isn't it? You can't. If you're not called City, you can't get in the playoffs.
Ooh, that's true. Although the next 3 teams don't have City in them, so it could be one of them has to take the bait. But yeah, Birmingham, I think will be up there. If they're as high as I've put them, maybe not. But they've got the money, they've got the financial backing, they've got Tom Brady in there as well, who's helping out, financial advisor. Well, not financial advisor, like a minority stakeholder.
Yeah.
So who knows? But that's my little surprise package. If I had to pick one.
Right. Well, you've probably worked out at least 2 of the 3 teams that are left. If that was a surprise, this next one, you must have done this while you were having sex, because your mind was on other things. What you were doing, putting this team in at number 3, I do not know. Southampton, almost almost the worst team ever in Premier League history. They've appointed a manager with no experience at this level. Fair enough, he was good on FIFA, but that's apparently that makes you a good manager these days. Third, I mean, I kind of get the Birmingham one in the fact that they're going on the high of getting promoted and what have you, but Southampton are a club in free fall. Can they afford to get? I mean, they've got shit players there. They've been run badly. They've been managed badly. They had a bad manager who we managed to avoid getting. Then he was replaced by an even worse manager, and now they've got a manager, like I say, who picks his team on the PlayStation. I mean, how have you got these at number 3?
Like Tom says there, Will Still, yes, he's unrecognised. His record in English football isn't, it's clean. He's not really had a fair crack at the whip or anything. It's new to him.
It's clean though. It's like cleaning a new car and leaving it in the garage. It's going to stay clean, isn't it?
It is, but I think players will play for him. And I think that's going to be the big key factor at Southampton. I think I've seen a lot of the players have come out and backed him and said, from the things he's already told us and said to us, like,
they're not going to though, are they?
I get that, and I totally get that. But I think sometimes you can see from the body language, not just what they're saying, but the body language looks like they would also, run through brick walls for him. Who knows whether that would work all season? No one knows. But I think Will Still's going to be able to turn Southampton's fortunes around in the Premier League. Possibly not. Again, these are teams now that I said earlier are too good for the Championship, but too sharp for the Premier League. So it's it was tough to where to put these 3, but out of the 3 that I've put where I've put, I had to put Southampton third out of the lot.
Don't worry, guys. I won't ask him back on. Thank God. If maybe next season we might pass each other again. Who knows? But we won't have to see him for 12 months.
However, Chris, don't worry, because you'll beat Birmingham in the playoffs, and then you'll beat Southampton in the final. So
Here we go. Trying to dig himself out this hole now.
Well, I just found a butter knife outside of me, and I thought, well, if I can spread it on thick, why not?
Top 2. I understand where you've gone, and I actually agree with number 1. I really do. Number 2, look, whether they would have finished as a playoff or in that automatic promotion place, as you say, they've got a new manager in now. You've got number 2 straight in with a bullet, new entry this week of Sheffield United.
Yeah, I like I said, I rated Ruben Sellers at Hull, and I think given a proper good squad, as I said at the time of me making these predictions, this is a Sheffield United that's still got Michael Cooper, still got Gustavo Hamer, still Tyrese Campbell up top, still quite an attacking side. They may lose these players, but at the time of writing it, this is where I put them. It could all change, but I think without Wilder, it could now give them a freedom to express themselves just a little more on an attacking front. They did pretty well attacking. They counter-attacked quite a lot of teams last year. They were very lucky with some of the goals they got. But again, sometimes all you need is to remove one person out of the fray for it to bear fruits, and I think that's what will happen at Sheffield United with Ruben Sellers.
Yeah. Although having said that, in fairness to Chris Wilder, Sheffield United wouldn't have been in the playoffs if it hadn't been for him last season.
It was a strange reappointment anyway, because obviously they sacked him when he was having a dismal Premier League campaign. They re-brought him back in and trusted him with a rebuild project. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that any other manager would have done what they did last year. You know, started with -2 points, still managed to achieve what they achieved. But again, they just, I just don't think, you see them managers a bit like, there's been a few, haven't they, where a manager goes around to about 3 or 4 clubs, ends up back at his original club. We saw it with Eddie Howe. We came up north to Burnley. It didn't quite pan out. Went back down to Bournemouth, got them into the Premier League and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, certain managers and certain clubs work. I'm not saying that Ruben Sellers at Sheffield United will, but Wilder will always be a safe option if Sheffield United need bailing out.
Yeah.
I just think they do have a Premier League team, not you know, a bottom end, definitely relegation fodder Premier League team, but you know, a team that's still better than Championship level, I believe.
Not been linked with us yet, Chris Wilder, but hey, you never know. You never know. And I have to say, I agree 100% with you on this one. Not that I disagree with you on many of them, but Ipswich Town to win the league. Oh, yes. This is a team that came up, bought champion. It was very interesting because Steve Cooper, who was our manager, obviously, when we kicked off the season, said, "You're not going to blame me for taking you down because I'm not, you know, I haven't got the experience in the team." And that's why he was going out playing the Ayus and the Bobby Dakova Reeds and all of those. We then had Ipswich, who were going out buying Championship players, who, as it happened, didn't really cut it in the Premier League. But back in the Championship, I think they've probably got the strongest squad.
Yeah, and back end of the, you know, Premier League season, they actually showed a bit of fight to potentially try and stay up. It was just too little too late by that point. You know, they signed Dara O'Shea from us, who was voted their player of the their players' player of the season last year. They have got quite a good squad. You know, I think I like Amari Hutchinson, who plays in that cam role. There's what's he called? Jacob Greaves at back. I think he's a solid centre back as well. In fact, Burnley have not long come out. Well, Burnley officially haven't, but they're on about signing Axel Tuanzebe, who was Ipswich's right back last
I thought you were going to say Axel Rose then.
Yeah, welcome to the jungle. I mean, Burnley Football Club.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's they're just too good. I think I liked the way they played when they came. When you know, Kieran McKenna's a top quality manager.
Yes, he is. Yes,
and he's got enough about him to get Ipswich
will
down.
He stay? Do you think, or will he be poached?
Yeah. No, I think he'll stay. I could see Ipswich having a Burnley Dash situation where they won't hire and fire him. He'll keep his job, and it'll only be a case of until somebody like a West Ham or someone like that. But even them right now under Graham Potter, I couldn't see that move happening. But yeah, Ipswich to win it.
Ipswich to win it. I agree with you 100%. I'm not sure. Yeah, Sheffield United, I get that totally as well. I don't get Southampton and Birmingham, I'm not going to lie. Leicester, I'll take that 100% if we finish 5th. Coventry, again, I can understand that to some degree. And then at the other end, Oxford, Preston and Charlton. I hope Charlton stay up. I really do. But I have a feeling, like you say, I think when you come up through the playoffs, it's always hard for you, whatever division you're coming from and going into via the playoffs. But Dan, thank you very much, sir. Everybody, look, his channel's there under his next to his name, Dan at Turf Moorhouse, and it's also a brewery in Burnley, of course. Let's not forget that. How could we? But thank you very much. Good luck in the Premier League next season, mate.
Thank you.
If you know, I'm torn. If we come up, I want you to stay up. If we don't come up, I want you to get relegated. Is that fair enough? Is that all right?
That's fair enough, Chris. I'll let you have it.
Everybody that's been in the chat, thank you very much. What do you think of Dan's predictions? Let us know in the chat below if you're watching on Catch Up. And if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, Much appreciated. Next time, can you get the wax out your ears first, though? We'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock with Wayne, him of the David Dickinson suntan. He has, hasn't he? He has.
Dan's prediction of 5th is all right, Bobby Dazzler.
That's getting clipped. I don't care whether it doesn't do it automatically. That bit's getting clipped. Hi Wayne, how you doing, mate? See you at 8 o'clock tomorrow for the news roundup show. No news, but lots of rumours about Leicester City. Dan, give my best to Kate and the kids. And
thanks for having me.
In a few seconds. Take care, buddy. And thank you, everybody.
Up the Foxes as well. Up the Foxes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe as well. You know it makes sense.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.